What is up? Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, July 21st, and if you needed more and more confirmation that NFTs are not dead, because they aren't, DraftKings is kicking off our morning announcing that they are going to be creating and launching their own mainstream curated NFT drop secondary marketplace. There's so much that is kind of like riding on this. It's a huge step for a huge company into the NFT space. We have seen Matt, the CEO, buying up punks. They are involved. They're trying to get as much of their hands on everything in the NFT space. It's just another confirmation that there are big corporations, big players in the traditional media, marketing, collectibles, betting space that are all looking at NFTs and saying that is the future. I want to get my hands on it, and I want to be involved, and it's exciting. I think we'll see more of these types of announcements start to pick up over the next 2 months. I think a lot of people are in still the ideation phase. They're in that very early, like we're getting ready to launch, or we're creating that system. So super exciting! Congrats to DraftKings. I'm very very excited to see what that looks like and how it does. Getting into some other things that are worth mentioning before we jump into pricing this morning. I jumped on with PO from NFT Culture yesterday. If you're not following them, go give them a follow. Really cool guy. I like what they're doing. The interview was really touching on like whales, being kind of like an influencer in the space. And like from that aspect, they're just saying like if you have a following, what is it like to tweet stuff and have a community and what all that looks like at this point in the space. We're seeing a lot more of like people shilling things, and I think there's like this dangerous fine line between saying you like something and don't like something because you can influence somebody to go buy. So I try to be very careful about that. Really cool show. Talk about art blocks. We talk about so much. It's a really good show. Go check it out. The link will be in the description. I also spent some time yesterday listening to Ben from the Weird Wheels Project. They had a Twitter Spaces, and they also, I think, are having some stuff in Discord as well. It was cool to hear his story. Very smart child, and I'm excited to see what he does next as well. The whale prices dipping on him being confirmed to be like a real 12-year-old who is smart. Don't know why. It's one of those things you might have to let play out. But he is real. Like it's confirmed. I don't know what else to tell you guys. So I'll be excited to see whatever his third project is, because there is one before Weird Whales that's called like Minecraft Yeehaw, which is like his Genesis project, which is very cool. Weird another like not weird whales another Wednesday project that's launching today that I want to mention, just because so many people have asked me about it. I'm not sure if I'm buying yet, maybe not. Is that the Hall of Fame goats are launching a supply of 10,000 goat NFTs. It has very strong Bored Ape Yacht Club vibes. I like the backgrounds, they stand out. There's an emotion that I talked about in profile avatars needing to have. And you can immediately look at them and say, yeah, that's a goat. But I do think they're like, people are very much copy pasting the generated like Bored Ape Yacht Club model and saying what animal are we going to do it with, and if we do it well, people are going to buy and we'll make 200 to 500 ETH. So I think it'll sell out. Like if you want my honest opinion, it's going to sell out. Whether or not it holds value over the long term, we'll have to let the market and the buyers decide. But this is launching today, and definitely something we'll see a lot of on the timeline. Worth noting, the punks have officially been flipped by Twin Flames. Twin Flames floor now sitting at a price of 20 Ethereum. Punks sitting just under that, or I have to check. I think things have changed a little bit in the last 30 minutes since I looked at this. But as of last night and this morning when I've checked, Twin Flames flip punks, 20 ETH floor there, 19 and some change for punks. Crazy to see this. Cannot believe that It was possible to buy in the single digits for this project just a week ago, and now we're at double digits. I don't think we see this slow down, and I'm sure there's going to be announcements around how this project is going to be featured going forward. So congrats to Justin. Very cool to see that. Didn't think that was going to be happening. Before we jump into the NFT marketplace on OpenSea, checking floors, secondary, and how things are moving, I do have a Discord. I was tweeting about this last night. If you get in there, I was going to give people the OG name. We're currently on the slow G roll. So if you join now and you're within the first 500, you'll get a slow G roll. I'm trying to build that Discord out a little bit more so that I can have some of these conversations that I'm having now in a more fluid and open bandwidth medium. Twitter's a little hard because you only have 280 characters and you have to go back and forth. It's great that people can find it. However, I want to have a little bit more tight-knit community on that Discord. The link is below. It would mean a ton to me if you join there, share some info about yourself, and get involved. With that said, let's look at the NFT market this morning. A lot of red over the last 24 hours. And I think this just has to do with, one, Ethereum having a very bumpy and rocky way down into the 1700s. I know we're back up at like 1900 this morning, but I do think that there is we're in this kind of like consolidation fear, and people are either just trying to get out of position so that they have ETH and they can go stable or leverage that up on the way back up. Or people are just saying like, hey, like the prices don't make sense. I want out. So I do think that projects that have been around are going to get a little soft. Things that are launching still seem to have that demand and they want to sell out. So that's very interesting, very cool to see. But yeah, the market mostly red on the 24-hour mark. Bored Ape Yacht Club sitting just around 7 ETH on the floor. Looking at the floor right now, it looks like, there's the usual, anything that has a covered eye, sleepy eye, sits on the floor. And then anything that is a little bit more fancy than that will be just off the floor. But it really just comes down to fur. And if you're going to be doing like the rarity traits, those are priced differently. I know like 3 traits and like clean apes go for a little bit more, but it's usually like the sleepy eyes or closed eyes or covered eyes sitting on the floor for bored apes. That's what I have seen. Taking a quick look at the activity real quick. If you need confirmation of where we are, the volume on things got crazy like a week ago. And now where we're at is lower volume, but numbers for average price are way up. And this is like, this chart right here is what pretty much every project looks like. We had this top consolidation period, volume got really high, lots of people buying in most projects, prices rose, and now it seems like volume has kind of slowed down. And the prices are still rising. So a lot of the people that probably were purchasing a week ago are, relisted, and now people are just kind of forced to buy at these higher prices. I think that's why like volume and some of the numbers for like price are down on like the 24-hour mark. It's just because things are getting more and more expensive. So at some point that has to kind of correct itself if it gets, too far from what reality is. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on for every project as we go forward here. Just looking at where the sales are, a lot of sales right around 9 to 10. Will be very interesting to see where this is at next week. Very good pickup. Stoic selling this gold jacket with gold chain for 8. Not a bad pickup in my opinion. Cool to see that. Looking at the Kennel Club continues its rise up. The floor seen at 2.4. The activity currently same kind of thing where we have that rise, consolidation, and now we're back on this second rise where volume has dipped down, but the average price is up. So looking at the current sales, a lot of stuff right at that floor of 2.5. and seeing some stuff roll in for 4 to 5. Nothing too crazy. A Trippy selling here for 7.25. Captain Trippy getting rid of that one. I've seen Captain Trippy like the last 3 mornings. I've done stuff selling things. So you use that information with what you will. Another one from Captain Trippy being sold. Nate Rivers selling one. Pranksy. So a lot of sales coming through here. Another one from Captain Trippy. I'm gonna have to give him a shout out on this video. But yeah, the dogs are certainly selling. There is liquidity. As you can see, within the last 10 minutes, we had 3 sales for a total of almost 10 ETH, or just over 10 ETH. So the dogs are on the rise up. Looking at Art Blocks floor for the curated sitting at 0.3. Same kind of scenario with the chart for that high volume. Price is still up. Chromie Squiggles pulling back to the low 2s, it looks like. That is interesting to see that happening. So it does look like there are some people getting out of positions in Art Blocks, the market being a little soft. Here we have a Fidenza selling for 11. I think the floor yesterday was at like 20. Somebody's telling me it's like in the high teens. So this might not be a bad pickup. It looks like somebody wanting just to get out and get the ETH in, accepting a bid possibly. Singularity is picking up some steam with the announcement from the Singularity creator that he's not sure how the drop will be done for his second project, whether or not you need to hold a Singularity to get priority or not. He wants to avoid the gas wars. That'll be interesting to see. But I do think those prices are either going to rise a little bit in like speculation, and if he does announce something, we'll see those prices really, really shoot up for people who want to flip. Algorithms, one of my favorite projects, definitely picking up some steam around the 1 ETH mark in the high, the 1 to 1.5 range, and then another squiggle at 2.5. So there is a little bit of softness in the Art Blocks curated market right now. Possibly some deals if you think things are gonna, consolidate and rip back up. But do your own research and buy what you like and want to hold. Subducts, another project that we've seen and talked about the last week. I think they look cool. There's a vibe, there's emotion to them. Some people that I very much respect buying these. Quickly looking at the floor at 0.18, it's been around there, I think. Yesterday and then the day before was a little higher, but I think this is cooling off a tad bit. Most of the sales being around the floor or just about double. But we are still seeing like high half, 0.5 to 0.79. But the rest around the floor. So I think this project is chilling a little bit. There definitely is some liquidity around the floor. There's still demand. I think people want to get into the project. But this definitely could be one that like you need to hold for a little bit before you see any kind of like crazy return. I just think there's so much flooding into the market that you really have to stand out and do something different to get a huge return. Besides like speculative buyers just hoping things go up on hype. Cool Cats NFT sitting at a floor of 0.8. The floor pulling back a little bit from yesterday. However, we are seeing average prices still continue to rise with volume down. Some 1.5 sales, stuff over 1, but a lot of liquidity on the floor getting eaten up, and then these much more rare cats getting bought at like the 1.5 to 2 ETH range. So there's definitely a lot still happening there. 8 hours ago, we had a 9 ETH sale roll in for Cool Cat number 807. This is now priced at 88. I'm curious why this happened. Interesting. Huge sale. Bought for 0.6 and then it was then just sold for 9 here. So not sure what's happening with that. But yeah, there's definitely activity happening on Cool Cats. I still like the cats, and we're still waiting on what's going to happen with the Ghost collab that was announced last week. So, lots to happen there. The Meebit floor pulling back a little bit more this morning, sitting at 1.6 ETH on the floor. A lot of stuff just being bought up. I told people it might be a good chance if they want to get a Meebit and they don't want to pay too much and they just want to get into it. Not a bad time to buy. Dr. Burry here again purchasing. We've seen him in a lot of the last videos over the last 2 weeks on the Meebits, buying Meebits off the floor, and then every once in a while going after a very, very unique kind of looking Meebit. But looking through this, mostly single digits, not seeing anything too crazy roll through. A pig sale for 7. So I think we still just gotta wait. I'm giving it like a week or two before I think we really see Meebits start to get some attention and some love, because I have a feeling that there are a lot of people working on like animated series and videos. I know I think Loopify has a company that's doing stuff that I saw in his bio this morning. So there's definitely going to be something that sparks and shoots this market straight up for Meebits, because I trust Larva Labs with my life. Taking a look at Weird Whales right now, I'll refresh this page. The floor pulling back from like 0.29 yesterday, about halving to 0.13. This has been interesting. We saw that huge rise up, everybody FOMO'd in, and then the FUD hit, everybody dumped, and then it was like, he's real, I think, and everybody aped right back in, price shot up, and then yesterday, him basically talking and saying I exist and I'm real, and my dad helped and I had some help on the project, but this is like just me playing around. Sent people into fear. I think the people selling just don't think that it'll like hold a place in NFT history or it's cool. I think owning a whale is kind of a hedge like on this kid doing something cool next, and potentially sticking around the space for a while, which I think he will. Like if I was 12 and I did almost 750 Ethereum worth of volume in 3 days, and probably took in $250,000 to $500,000 off of that project for just playing around, I would definitely stick around. So we'll be interesting to see how this project goes. I'm gonna hold my will for now, and it just seems that a lot of the action is right on the floor. We don't see premium stuff being bought up. I think the alien prices are down to like 0.6 or 0.7 for the floor. So yeah, that's where the Weird Whales are sitting. The VFriends currently sitting at just around 4. It's been this way, hasn't moved at all. As far as activity goes, though, this project having that like high volume and then increasing price range seems to be losing volume over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and price is kind of just bouncing off of I think that 4 to 6 ETH range, but it does seem to be decreasing a little bit. The core is now starting to sell in the 3s. I guess that's just people accepting bids that want to get out of their position or need ETH or getting scared that ETH is pulling back. We did see a gift goat sell yesterday for 22. That floor is now in the 30s. I think the floor is like 39. So yeah, like it's going to be interesting to see where the spectaculars and where the gift goats end up when the first gift goat comes out, whatever that announcement is. I think people will probably go crazy and try to get the gift goats, but I do think there are a ton of people that are like, I'll get the first 2 gifts and then I'll sell the gift goat. So there is risk buying at 22 ETH, and there is risk buying at 30 ETH. I think if you bought at 5, you're good. Like, money well spent, you're not in any kind of risk. But if you're about to put in 22 ETH, which comes out to now, right, like 40K, it might be hard to extract all that value. Possibly. Like, that's, again, we don't know. It's all kind of like speculation. But if you think you are gonna get the first two gifts and then sell it for 35, I don't know if that market will be there. I do think that there are people that are like, I'll get the first two gifts and then I'll sell it for 5 ETH profit, or sell it for what I bought it for. I think that those are strategies that I've heard on multiple spaces and through multiple people. The consistent Cougar spectacular here, selling for just about 23 ETH, 22 and a half. So VFriends still getting love and still people buying in. Gutter Cat Gang sitting right around where we've been at the 1.2 ETH floor. Activity still a little slow. It's like a sale every hour or two around the floor. Nothing too crazy happening with them. Punk's Comics still at the 0.82 floor that we saw yesterday. It's kind of just that pullback off of that Meta Heroes snapshot. I do expect this floor to pump as we go into the burning and staking decision for many people. But people still buying. Looks like about every hour or two here we get a sale. So I think the focus is other places, and it'll quickly come back to this whenever there is an announcement. Wicked Craniums, there's a talk tonight with Deez. Go follow him, and if you don't, on Wicked Craniums, I think it's 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The floor is still at 0.27, so the floor is up a little bit. I know there are people buying. I think the activity is up. Yep, so with kind of discussion and influencers talking about it now, and with, talk of like airdrops being done and whatnot, their prices are up here, and the activity and volume are up there. So you can see we kind of had this dip down, and now we're starting to rise up. Possibly a good buying. Like, we've seen this chart so many times. This huge rise, falls down, we wait 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden there's an announcement, and then we see a huge spike up. So we could see that average price shoot towards 1 possibly. CryptoPunks sitting at 19.9 floor. Not too much changing on the floor. We did have a hoodie punk sell, a glasses punk sell, tons of punks, it looks like here, being traded to friends. And then there was, I think, 21 hours ago, a VR sale as well. So nothing too like insane. No zombies, no beanies, nothing for over 100 ETH selling. But again, people want the punks. Money will flow back to the punks. And with ETH being cheaper, it is now kind of like, hey, there's a discount. If I want to jump into NFTs, I can throw 50K, buy a punk, and I'm into the game. On that note, ETH and Bitcoin, took a huge nosedive over the last 24 hours. However, this morning, the charts showing that it made a comeback. I think Ethereum was down into the 1700s at one point. So everything for the market over the last 24 hours is up about 8%. Ethereum being up almost 9%. Quickly looking at this chart, for the last day, we had a low point here at 1761, and then ever since kind of around late last evening on the East Coast, it's been a buyback period, bringing stuff back all the way up into the 1900s. So seeing that increase is definitely good for people who are expecting this to go up. For people that are still thinking that there's a bear market coming, and that, with these announcements of like more COVID variants coming out and hospitalizations, I think there are a lot of people that took this kind of rise this morning and are saying, okay, it's a second chance for me to get into stables a little bit. I am a little nervous. I'll say what I say every day. Just come up with your own strategy, do your research, and then act on it. Have that conviction, but definitely do whatever is going to keep your money the safest in your mind. And do not try to leverage up, because I do think right now the direction of ETH is kind of undetermined, just because there are so many different factors at play. I do think towards the end of the year, though, we'll have some kind of like, this is the direction we're going to move. I'm betting that it's going to be up, But I think in the meantime, we'll have some definite volatility, around this like 1,700 to 2,000 range, where we go up and then we go down, we go up, we go down, and it could be 10% swings potentially. Because look, the last 24 hours, you've seen a 9% swing. We can very easily bleed this off over the next few hours. That's all I have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Go check out everybody I mentioned, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Stay positive, share some love on the timeline, and peace.